Good afternoon, or good day, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you're at. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to the Suit Up Geek Fix channel. We have Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3 spoiler-filled review. With me, as always, is Dibes representing Philly, and I'm Lo from Cali. How you doing, Mr. Crockpot?
What is going on, Lo? Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk some Star Wars. We've got a good one to talk about tonight. Let's go.
Oh yeah, Disney Plus and the Lucasfilm really kicked it up a notch for this episode, and we're joined by a very, very special guest. We are so glad to have her back. Down below from San Diego, we have Sarah from Hello There podcast. How are you doing, Sarah? Good to see you again.
Good, glad to be back. I saw you. We did Boba Fett, and we're back for like the thing. Like,
I'm so excited, and honestly, this was such an event-filled episode, and anyone that's seen it knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. With that being said, though, this is going to be spoiler-filled. So spoiler alert. Let's dig right into general impressions. I'll throw it down to our guest. Oh, wait, really quick. What's up to Bad Dog Reviews? He's joining us in the chat. He says, hey, Formal Reviews in the house. How you doing, Formal? Thanks for joining us. Sarah, what were your general impressions of the episode upon your first watch?
Okay, I was just hoping. I was really glad there's been a sizzly slow burn into Darth Vader, right? We didn't want him in that first episode. This is Obi's show, right? So it's like it's got to be something right when he shows up, and I just thought it was super fitting that at the end of episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, we see all of his components put together, the arms and the mask, and you hear the hydraulic sounds and the air pressure and all that stuff. And then when episode 2 ended off with Obi just whispering Anakin, and then you get that boom at the screen, and those eyes, and Vader's eyes were just burning into it. I just was hoping going into episode 3 of this show that we would see the components put together like we did in the trailer, and and we weren't disappointed. It was all that and more. And he's so sassy, and he's so dramatic, and he's in pain, and he's hateful, and he's just feeds off of other people's fear. And it's just like, you could feel it every second on the screen. So I was very happy with that. And he was scary as all hell. Very scary.
No, you're muted.
I'm muted?
But yes, no, I agree, Sarah. I think
Okay.
that was my favorite aspect of how they presented Vader in this series. Like, for example, I rewatched episode 2 going into last night's premiere, or today's premiere, sorry. But I loved how that shot, Sarah, you were saying with it looks at his eyes, it gave me like Jason Voorhees vibes. Totally. Like, when you look at Jason Voorhees, you see the mask, but you see his eyes, and they're intense. And then the way they presented him, with the way he walks, the way he enters the room, it's like he has like this vicious killer vibe, and I loved it. And shouts out to Natalie Holt. John Williams did Obi-Wan's theme, but Natalie Holt from Loki has done excellent work on this show. Her themes and her she really gave a new flavor to Star Wars. Hats off to Michael Giacchino and John Williams and Kevin Kiner for all the work they've done. But Natalie Holt is really putting her stamp on this galactic adventure we're on.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Marvik's in the house. Hi, Mom. Thank you for joining, Mom. Love you, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Let me hand it over to my man, Dibes. What were your just general first thoughts when you saw this episode?
I actually thought, I would, if they played the Imperial March during, some sequence in this episode, I would have went absolutely batshit crazy, even more. I did miss a little bit of that John Williams score. I'm not going to lie. It was sorely missed. But
at the same time, I think her and Deborah Chow just kind of wanted to do their version of it, right? I don't think they didn't want to hash old feelings, I think. So
yeah. I thought episodes 1 and 2 were okay, but this one surpassed the first 2 by a pretty far margin. I don't know if anything made me feel like a kid again, like this morning's episode. It was awesome. It was just awesome. I've been waiting for this kind of Vader since Rogue One, man. And I thought the cinematography of this episode was really strong. It's been a while since we had a lightsaber duel like that, and I really want to talk about that because it's a little divisive. Shocker, something about Star Wars is divisive. But that lightsaber battle was awesome. I really enjoyed it. And James Earl Jones back in the mask at 91 freaking years old, man. Didn't skip a beat. I'm sure like he
Bless him.
Yeah, I'm sure there was some work that helped him out there, but this episode begins and ends with Vader and like you said, Sarah, the fear that the OG films didn't really address, the fear he implements across the galaxy. We're really seeing it 3 episodes into Obi-Wan Kenobi. For me, top to bottom, best episode to date, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, big time facts. And we have a lot of people in the chat. Thank you everybody who's watching right now. The formal review says he loves how this episode continued the film homages.
Yeah.
How you doing, our man Tyler, our resident commenter?
Yeah.
He says, bless James Earl Jones for voicing Darth Vader at 91 years old. It's so awesome. Love to see him work. Christian's in the house. Hi, Christian. He says Vader supremacy. He also says Padme supremacy. Big facts.
Love it.
Love that energy.
Padme Amidala for life.
I know.
Yes.
You got reference again in that moment. We're gonna talk about that moment where like Obi is just staring at little young Princess Leia, and you just like, I wish I was your father, and just tugging the heartstrings. She's so good. So good.
He handled that question so well, so beautifully. I was floored because I was expecting him like in the one episode when he was like, how old are you again? You know, he's kind of been cheeky with her, right? And like, he didn't make it a cheeky moment. He's like, this is a girl who's confused. She's had these 2 parents raising her, Brea and Bail, but she knows she's adopted and she knows that she had a mom and she has another dad out there somewhere, whoever they may be. Yeah. And I think he handled that so softly and so beautifully. And to say that, yeah, I would love to be your dad because you're a cool girl. You're a beautiful little child. And who wouldn't want to be your dad? You know, that was really
such a showcase of how much Obi-Wan truly cared for Padme. Truly loved her. It's
beautiful platonic, like Bail and him. I kept thinking about how much Bail and Obi-Wan were such good friends to Padme and how they lived the rest of their lives honoring her.
Yeah. And now we're learning like why Leia named her son Ben. Like that's all presenting itself.
I love that. No, but also to that point, Sarah, I just want to give a huge shout out to Vivian Lyra Blair. Boo to all the young Leia haters. There's a lot of them on the internet talking lots of smack. Yes. Boo to that. And honestly, the way she looked at Obi-Wan when she asked him, she just poured a wonderful performance there. She really poured herself into that moment. The look in her eyes, she looked at him with the honest sincerity and the honest like yearning to know what her past is. Like, are you my real father? Like, I just love the way she delivered it. And that's actually one of my favorite moments, which leads us right into our next segment here. So Sarah, go ahead and break down some of your favorite moments from this episode. I know there was a lot went down. What were some of your favorite moments?
Okay, I definitely the interaction between any interaction at this point between Obi and Leia. It's interesting. And when he accidentally calls her Leia in front of the stormtroopers on the little gopher freight train ride that they're going on the mining planet, and how he looks at her and the stormtrooper's like, oh, I thought her name was Luma and you just called her Leia. And he was like, oh, that was her mother's name. And when I look at her, I see her mother, and it was just like, bro.
Like, it almost didn't feel like a lie, right? Like, I felt like he was being honest.
Yes. And then seeing shout out to Moses Ingram. Reva is absolutely one of my favorite dark side characters of all time. It took 3 episodes, but it just took 1 because I was like, I wasn't expecting this energy to come from her, and to see this just the way all of these lower level dark side empire people just want to climb higher up the ladder of of chaos and power,
Mhm.
and they want Vader's favor, and seeing Han from Tokyo Drift be so messed up by everything Reva does. And when Vader does the Grand Inquisitor means nothing, it was like, you guys don't mean shit to him. He doesn't care about any of you guys. Nobody loves you. Palpatine doesn't love you. Like, it's just such the dark side and the Sith stuff is so twisted. It's such a trap. It never ends. It's just this hole that if you're in it, you just dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker is so bleak and so sad and dark. That just seeing him revel in that hate when he finally finds Obi and he's walking through that town and he's feeling for him, and he's like a great white shark looking for his prey, just like this ominous doo-doo. Like, I could almost hear that theme coming into play. And then it reminded me of Heat, the movie Heat, a little bit, when you had Pacino and De Niro running around at the end of that movie playing cat and mouse, and you had Obi-Wan just so broken and pulling out the saber for the first time and not being able to fight or keep up, and then everything else that happened after that was like, I don't know if you guys want to save that raking through the coals aspect for a moment, but that was like, I didn't know what to do. I literally, like, my eyes just rolled in the back of my head a few times, like a drug or something. I just was like, what is this?
Yeah, man. Fully agree.
Love it.
Fully agree.
And I really quickly, I really liked how, when you see him in the original films, like, you never understood how his apparatus worked, but I loved seeing, like, the holes in his back, seeing the respirator thing get inserted onto his chest, and you can see that it goes into his lungs and actually helps him breathe, and seeing all the pieces come together in his suit, it was almost like Iron Man-esque, but I love the detail there and love seeing him kind of come together, and it helped me think of that quote from A New Hope when Obi-Wan says, he's more machine now than man. And then you see, like, the robot hands get clipped onto his, like, nubs, and it's like,
did you notice how as soon as the arm went on, his little fingers, he did a little wiggle, he did little jazz hands.
Yeah, and it really adds to the creepiness and the menace of his character. And then also, one really quickly, I'm gonna pass this to you, Dives, but I really, really liked how the contrast, the first 2 episodes, we really felt how broken Obi-Wan was, how guilty he felt, how he's not the same man he was 10 years ago, and he's been sitting on that sadness. But on the opposite spectrum, Vader has been simmering in hate and vengeful, like, you left me to die in a lava pit, and he's just so hateful, and his power has actually increased on the dark side. And then when you see him striking Obi-Wan's saber, you can just almost the way Luke was slamming on Vader's saber, you feel those thunderous blows, and you can feel Anakin's hate. I really liked how that was portrayed. But Dives, what about you, man? What were some of your favorite moments from this episode?
When you were, like, comparing the Darth Vader suit up scene to Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, I was thinking, like, I need to, like, make a video of that on YouTube of that scene, but with, like, Shoot to Thrill from AC/DC in the background.
Really
that was great.
All right, are we saving for the Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader fight for later, or should we talk about it now? Because
if that's your favorite moment, I mean, I think that was the highlight, right? So hey, go ahead, man.
All right, real quick, some of my favorite moments. The shot of Hayden in the robes in that sequence was mind-blowing. Like, seeing, like, how Obi-Wan would kind of think he looks was such an incredibly haunting and beautiful moment. But Lo, I've seen a force push before, I've seen a force choke before, I've seen a force heal before, but never ever have I seen a force fatality before. When Vader just snapped that boy's neck was one of the most freaking awesome force moves I have ever seen, man. Just, again, witnessing Vader in live action in all of his rage and hate. Now you will suffer, Obi-Wan. Like, what was the quote? I paraphrase, like,
I am what you made me.
I am what you made me. Like, that was That was so awesome. The fight between Obi-Wan and Vader was my favorite, and I thought it was kind of reminiscent of what we saw on Bespin between Luke and versus Vader, when Luke kind of just ditched and was like, "I'm out of here." I thought it was really well conceived. Again, shocker, the fight is pretty divisive out there, but I thought it was really well done. Like, I thought Kenobi acted exactly like he did in A New Hope. Like, he sacrificed himself to save Luke and Leia then, and clearly would do so all these years ago here. And I just think that's a really cool thought. Like, he made sure that Leia was safe, and he was almost ready to die, as knowing that she was safe. I definitely think that Vader was toying with Obi-Wan, especially at the end. There was kind of like a Predator moment. I don't know about you, Lo. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
he easily could have destroyed him.
Right.
He held back.
Exactly. Like, he knew, like, from the jump, and he even referenced it during the fight. Like, he knew that Obi-Wan, over the last 10 years, has been pretty much moping, suffering
wasting
from
away, not
PTSD.
practicing his skills.
Yeah, and Vader was like, "I don't want this. I'm going to make you suffer. I'm going to toy with your emotions. I'm going to bring you pain." And I thought that was a really cool moment for me. That fight scene was awesome. And you got to think too, like, people are like, "Oh, it was, what Vader wouldn't do that. He wouldn't just sit and let Obi-Wan escape to safety." But, like, you got to think back. Like, Anakin was a freaking war general, man. Like, from the jump that Anakin sees that Obi-Wan's here, he's going to be like, patience. That's how, remember, they reference that. Patience is how you kill the Jedi. That opens up another door. Maybe Obi-Wan and the people working with Obi-Wan are going to bring him to more rebels down the line. And, Vader will, spring another trap moving forward. So I thought it was awesome. I love the fight. Some of my best fights aren't even great lightsaber battles. The fight between Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi in Rebels is one of the best fights ever, but it's literally just 3 swings, but it's more like a samurai. Like, it's about precision. It's not about backflips and different things like that. I thought the Vader Obi-Wan Kenobi fight scene was terrific.
And to kind of like echo your sentiment, it's more about the emotion of the moment, right? And the what the two individuals are feeling, right? But our chat is popping. Thank you guys so much. Tyler over here is saying he likes when the Stormtrooper got Darth Maul. I love this. I literally was like, oh, like, they did that. Like, he
joins the Maul party with Snoke as well.
Yes,
and then Christian's highlighting how Vader dragged Obi-Wan through the flames. That was pretty brutal. And anyone that's ever had a small burn on the stove, come on, man. Like, don't give me that wasn't brutal. Because, I mean, if you're scorching from your, like, shoulders down, come on, that's painful.
I've done enough crafting to where I have so many hot glue gun scars on my hands, my wrists, from just, like, hot bubbling rubber glue just getting right in there. And like, I was so interested, like, when he did that move and like all those crystals came flying out, I was like, okay, are we on like a crate again? Are we gonna see like the white and the red or some shit like that? And it was like, no. Got a Daenerys wave of fire going through here, and he just like barbecued him. I didn't. I've seen the comic panel. It's like a vision that Vader had, or Obi had, somebody had, in one of the comics, where it's the opposite. You see Obi-Wan frying on Mustafar, and you see Vader in his suit watching him. And I think this show has gone to the comic books a lot, and has taken little things and kind of, rewrapped them in a different, taken the same candy, wrapped it in a different wrapper, and put it out there. And I think that's, their version of that horrible nightmare of what if it was Obi burning on Mustafar, and just seeing him hold him there and keep him there. And he's like, okay, I'm done. Now you guys go bring him to me. Like, I'm not going to go fetch him. I don't need to go get Obi. Like, I have minions now. Like, it was almost another power play showing Obi-Wan that, like, I could have killed you 10 minutes ago, right off the bat, but, like, no. And I have all these people here helping me, and I don't need to go fetch you. I'll have them fetch me. And I think he wasn't, like you guys said, that upset when Obi got away. It's like, he didn't really get away. Darth Vader just was like, okay, I'm done for now. Like,
no, if anything, he let him get away, and I love that. That's just a power play right there. Like, 100%. I'm letting you live today.
That's like Mean Girl shit. You know what I mean? That's like Regina George.
Lo, this is the closest to Vader Rebels Vader we have gotten. Like, look at that rage. That rage, like, that was like my first thought when we're seeing just Vader go full rage. We saw this before in Twilight of the Apprentice. That's where my mind went to in this scene.
Love it. Really quick, Tyler was saying Vader was chasing Obi-Wan down like Michael Myers. I did not see that coming. This episode got really dark. He's literally like murdering people like in succession to lure Obi-Wan out. And one last favorite moment before we start grading the episode. I couldn't help but feel when Obi-Wan had a little like gun standoff with the stormtroopers. Like, the moment that moment hit, it felt like 007 James Kenobi. Like, he went full secret agent, and at first, like, it didn't sit well. The name's Obi-Wan Bond, right? In the second episode, it kind of felt kind of clunky, but in this one, he was a lot more fluid, almost John Wick with his movements, and it's starting to grow on me his I need to hide the fact that I'm a Jedi kind of thing, and I thought that was kind of cool. He didn't do any Jedi mind tricks. He didn't take the easy way out. He took the spy way out, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So,
plus, think of like the trauma that's like right in Obi-Wan's face happening in this moment. Like, it's
and Leia
like
watching it the whole time. Leia watching this old man like go through this stuff. Like, that's a lot as a child to take in.
Yeah, and I love that she looks at him like a grandpa. She's like granddaughter, maybe.
She's so perfect. She is so. I don't even know how they did it. I don't know how they found her. Her middle name being Lyra is, I think, slightly iconic and like kind of like a kismet manifestation thing, because that's Jyn Erso's mom's name from Rogue One, and it's like Lyra is just not a super common name. So it's just kind of cute that this little being of a child just encapsulates not just Leia, but the Carrie Fisher, just the whole, I don't know. And if you know any 10-year-olds, you know that they can act exactly like this and then some. So, like you said, if you're cooing on little Leia, I don't know what to tell you. You can't be helped. You honestly can't.
Right. Yeah, no, the sassiness to her is uncanny, and also the headstrongness of Padme. It's so beautiful. I really, really enjoy her performance. But with that being said, though, let's kind of go into grades, and then we'll go into predictions for next week. Sarah, how would you grade this episode overall? And like, if really quickly, do you think you could do a quick episode ranking between the three?
Okay, I would say 9.9 for this episode for sure. I just don't want to be like, 10. I don't want to be like, just give it all of it. Last, I would say 3, 2, 1. And it's like, one just you have to establish your characters. It's got to be kind of a slow build. And you have to establish the monotony of what this man has been going through every day for 10 years. Shutting off the Jedi stuff, turning it off. And so, of course, that's not going to be the funnest thing to watch in the whole world, but you got that Owen, interaction. Again, a play on the comics, like, how many more Skywalkers do you want to kill? Or haven't you killed enough Skywalkers? But instead he says, like you trained his father, right? So you get, that was so good. And then, like, going just all the way with Leia, that was so unexpected and so wonderful. So that whole second episode, getting more into her, being a little girl who watched Star Wars. I love Luke. I loved watching him flip around on Dagobah. He was super cool, but there was always like, and not to, gender it or whatever, but it was just always like, you kind of wanted to know a little bit more. And she's just such a a well-written character that we don't get to see on screen still to this day in 2022. So to see who she was at such a beautiful age, to see Bale be such a wonderful father to her and tell her that she's such a that she is an Organa through and through, and she's going to lead this place one day. Loved it. But you just can't beat Darth Vader coming back. He had this 90s radicalness to him, and I mean that in like the coolest way. Like, I don't know how old you guys are, but if you grew up in the 90s, like, just remember like that totally radical, like cool vibe, you know? It just, he had this cool, like, I'm rad. Like, I felt like the green popped more, that transition from the walking into the lava of Mustafar and seeing the castle. It just was like rad, man. I don't know how else to vibe.
Hell yeah, I know. And I think like seeing his castle is something fans have been asking for forever. And then we got a little tease of it in Rogue One, but now we really got this wide pan of it on this show, and it was beautiful.
Very Tony Montana, very Scarface when he was just like looking out the window at the end. I was like, dude.
I love it. What about you, Devs?
I think like a 9.2, 9.325, something along those lines would be for me. I can't agree any more than what Sarah just said, especially about Princess Leia. Like, I love her character, and it's really growing on me. This episode also had some really fun Easter eggs. Quinlan Voss is alive. Whoa. Obi-Wan has a brother. Whoa. I didn't even know. Like, I know nothing about that. So where's that coming? We're obviously going to get Qui-Gon at some point as a ghost or something over these next 3 episodes. They keep teasing that. I think the biggest complaint I have, and I think Reva took a step forward as a character as well this week. The biggest complaint I have is we only have 3 more episodes, you know, and that's where I keep going back to. Is I want more Reva. I think she's awesome. I played the Jedi Fallen Order game. Like, I get so many vibes from that. I want more, you know, young Princess Leia. I want it all. And it's just, I've got that, you know, that fear, I guess, that where there's so much more to explore in this series, and there's only 3 episodes. That's my fear. But overall, 9.2, by far the best of the season so far, and I'm just so excited to where this heads, because I agree with what Christian said here. This is not the last time they face off. It's going to be epic, man. We'll get into predictions in a little bit, but just truly epic episode that brought all the nostalgia, all the feels back. It was great.
You know, being as someone that was a little cynical when they announced this, and I mean, not to be like a Debbie Downer or anything, but it just like, I kind of felt like, what more could they show? And I heard about the fight, and I was like, why would they fight before A New Hope? Because A New Hope was so epic, and how, you know, before I left you, you know, I was the apprentice and now I'm the master, and it's like, I felt like it was going to ruin that. But I retract my statement upon seeing this episode. I think there's an energy that Deborah Chow is bringing to this series. I'm really glad she got the opportunity to do this.
Shout out to Deborah Chow.
Yeah, Deborah Chow, like, you know, she did a little bit of a slow build there, but now that we're hitting the ground running with episode 3, you know, like from the framing of him getting his suit on to when he lands in the village, coming out of the smoke, having the tracking on his boots, just seeing his boots, it's very much like almost like slasher-esque. The way he just like taunted those poor villagers, and there's an energy to what Deborah Chow is showing us here. You know, the ferocity of his strikes.
First you get the force, then you get the power, then you get the revenge.
Bring it back to Scarface.
I love that. A hats off to Formal. Down below, he commented, Tony Montana would be saying something along those lines if he was a Sith Lord, right? I love it. But yeah, I think I agree with you guys. This is the best episode of the series. This is easily a 9 for me. I'm not gonna get hyperbolic and say it's the best episode of Star Wars ever, but it was super enjoyable, and it felt good to know that Hayden Christensen's behind the suit as well. You know, you could see him training, and when you see some of the fights, you could see what he was working on, and I think like his presence is there, and I'm really happy that he's back. Ditto James Earl Jones. So now going forward, we finally got a big confrontation that everyone's been waiting for. We got Vader back. Everyone's been waiting for that. Where do we go from here, right? So I'll throw it down to you, Sarah. Like, where do you think we're gonna go the next episodes 4 and 5 and 6?
I definitely had a vibe since the trailer that we would see kind of a redemption arc with Reva. But after the first 2 episodes, I was like, I think she's pretty like deep into the dark side. Like she's committed, like committed. But there's been rumblings, and I think they kind of laid it on a little thickly that she was most likely a youngling in that opening scene, right? You had that young girl, braids, everything. And my sister and I noticed this time watching the intro, we thought she was the kid that said run, but there's some kid that says, what should we do? And another one says run. I think she was the one that said, what should we do? And then you see them kind of scatter and leave. And then just the way she's so in the saloon and in front of the people at Tatooine, the Jedi abandon you. They are not here for you. They're not going to help you. Wanting favor with Vader, like just burning inside of her, the way she taunts Obi, the way the Grand Inquisitor told her that she had the stench and she only got her position because of her talents and her abilities, and watching her do the Kylo Ren thing and suck the truth out of that freaking guy's head. I just don't know if she can come around, but we see her, to bring it back to this great white shark vibe, she's had it this whole time. She is just going, she will go to any depths of the ocean to find this man, do whatever she needs to do to find this man. So now she has Leia. She has no idea who the fudge she is. She just knows she has, like, I gotta find a way to get this imperial senator's daughter. Like, Bail works for the Empire. You can't just take their kids. And so I think we're gonna see Vader interact with little Leia before we see her in A New Hope. And I think all the nuances of A New Hope have just intensified over the last 3 episodes. So anyways, long story short, I think we're going to see something surprising with Reva, whether it's with Leia, whether it's with keeping Obi-Wan's, where he, once he gets back to Tatooine, if she knows where he's at, if she keeps her trap shut, I don't know. But I just think something very interesting is going to happen with her. And we will see Vader and Obi connect again one more time, but I hope not on Tatooine. I don't want Vader showing up to Tatooine, because then it's like, it just wouldn't make sense. But I don't know.
I love it. And just to kind of just a mild comment on Reva, she has this intimidating presence that I haven't seen something like this since Man of Steel with General Zod. She's got this ferocious anger to her that it's just so infectious, the same way Zod does the "I will find him," she has that energy, and I really, really like that. Moses Ingram's doing fantastic. Tyler here is saying one of the Inquisitors better use the lightsaber to fly in the next 3 episodes.
100%.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, they can't not. I mean, it'd be a waste of an opportunity to
That's
not.
from Rebels, right? They do that in Rebels? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they kind of do a helicopter thing.
Okay.
And also I wanted to quickly highlight Sun Kang too. I think he's excellent, and I think going forward we might see a what number brother is he? I don't know. I forgot the order.
The 5th brother, I think.
So 5th brother versus 3rd sister. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a battle there. That's gonna be pretty awesome. And I think Sun Kang is great so far. He's really got this bite to him as well with his Kung Lao hat. That's the first thing I thought of, is Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat or something, or Raiden.
And that coloring, that kind of minty green, I thought the makeup looked good, because I know some people were thrown off during the trailer, and I'm like, what do you expect? It's live action. Rupert Fiennes can't have a cone head. He's not going to have a smooth mint chocolate chip face. It's real life. And if you want more practical effects, they're going to look a little practical, So yeah. I've enjoyed it. He's burning with something too, like Reva.
Yeah, I think Dibes nailed it last week. I think we're definitely gonna see him come back. I mean, especially they have him really highly billed, and
Oh yeah.
he's literally had like 4 lines total in the series. So I'm sure he's gonna come back. But I'm actually really curious. I think I'm gonna call my shot here with
Nice.
how heavily they've invested in Andor and how gorgeous Andor looks. I can't help but feel we might get a little bit of crossover here. I mean, Mando did it with Book of Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett obviously had a lot of carryover from Mando, and I think with this series, it just makes sense, especially with Kevin Feige kind of lurking in the shadows of Lucasfilm. I think there's gonna be a lot more connectivity, and I think we might get some seeds of Andor in this. I'm just not exactly sure
Like they're
how.
gonna serve the ball, like Obi's gonna serve the ball over to Andor, kind of like
Well,
bring it
I don't
in.
think like
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be a perfect handoff, especially because Leia's still so young, and I'm not sure who she could possibly meet right now that gets her into the rebellion. But maybe Obi-Wan does meet someone from Andor's side of the rebellion. But what do you think, Dives?
All right, first 2 episodes, I thought Reva was getting set up to obviously, like, her MO was to take down Obi-Wan, obviously, because she failed at protecting the younglings and failed at keeping Anakin on the right path. But I'm pretty certain there's seeds being planted about these Inquisitors, and you nailed it, Sarah. Like it's like everything they're doing is to one up each other and climb that ladder. I think 100% it will be Reva that's trying to set a trap to kill Darth Vader. I think she knows that Darth Vader killed her friends, and I think what we'll see is, she's definitely like deep undercover. Like she has her own motivations, but I feel like that's like a big piece. Like she knows that Vader's going to be near Obi-Wan. I think she's scared to death of Darth Vader. I think she knows 100% she can't take him on one-on-one. But if they're going back and forth if he's going back and forth with Obi-Wan, maybe there's a window that Reva can step in, and I think that's going to be a big reveal that, and that kind of goes along with the Sith. I definitely think she's too far gone to be like deep undercover Jedi, and that kind of thing. But for me, I think she's 100% in it to kill Vader, and that's going to be an awesome showdown, and it's going to get really complicated when the Grand Inquisitor comes back probably in an episode or 2 and complicates everything and says like how she's the one who killed him, because I think she told everyone that it was Obi-Wan. So
Yep.
That's going to be really, really fun. We're going to see kind of Reva become like a lone wolf, I think, and somehow be weaved into this story. So that's going to be really fun. I got vibes that I think Darth Vader is probably going to take on Obi-Wan next time, like maybe a little too soft, and in prime Obi-Wan fashion, like he's going to find that window and exploit it and take down Darth Vader. That's my first vibe right now. And yeah, I definitely think the Grand Inquisitor is coming back. They can't do it. They can't do my favorite Grand Inquisitor like that. They just can't. That was part of the reason why I was like a little upset about episode 2. No, but that's where I'm at right now. I don't know about Andor. I don't know about that. I would prefer to have some sort of like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano interaction, announcing Ahsoka as like Fulcrum. That would be really cool. Heading into A New Hope. That's what I would like.
That'd be wild if she just ended up in every single fucking live show.
Yes, please.
Ahsoka and Mando, Ahsoka and Boba, Ahsoka and Obi, Ahsoka and Ahsoka.
I am here for it.
I would love it.
Question: do you guys think that O'Shea Jackson, Cuba Gooding, Cuba Gooding Jr. Jesus Christ, help me! Ice Cube's son is going to be freaking Quinlan Voss.
Oh,
help me! Thank you.
He's definitely showing up at some point.
He's made some interesting tweets, and I think he's kind of
really
laying it on that he's gonna be hoppity little Quinlan Voss with the yellow stripe, and it's gonna be just flipping around everywhere. We'll see.
Yeah. I would love it. I think O'Shea Jackson's a great actor. At the same time, though, I don't have enough knowledge of that character to say if that's him or not. But I'd love to see it. I think he's great.
I mean, I know Asajj Ventress definitely died, right?
Yeah, in Dark Disciple, they fell in love and they had a nice little relationship, and she trained him and all that stuff. So
that's where my head's at. Like, if they could retcon something, that would be amazing to get a little cameo there of Asajj.
Speaking of Asajj, who I love dearly, especially her arc in the Clone Wars, have you finished? I know you're a big animation, head, Sarah. Have you finished Clone Wars like completely, or?
I have not finished Clone Wars completely. I'm about I know like all the story arcs at this point, but like I'm season 2. I'm on season 2 of Clone Wars. So
okay, but you do kind of know Asajj's like journey.
Yes, one of the first Star Wars books I ever read was Dark Disciple, and it is about the Jedi Order deciding that they're going to send Quinlan Vos undercover to kill Dooku, assassinate him, like just straight up, which is what Anakin does. So I think, in theory, Anakin was just doing what the Jedi Order wanted them to do anyways. But they picked Quinlan Vos to do the job, and Yoda and Obi were like, well, let's like have him hook up with Asajj Ventress. She's not on the dark side anymore. She doesn't like Dooku, but she trained with him. She knows him. So let's just send this naive, sweet summer child of a Jedi out to hang out with Asajj Ventress for a couple weeks. And boy, like, it is a steamy Star Wars book. It's very PG-13-ish, but like she shows him a little bit of how to tap into the dark side, but not too much, right? And without spoiling too much about the book and the storyline, it's an unaired Clone Wars episode. So this was written for the show. It never aired. Filoni, probably wanted to do it, but they just did it in this book form. And Katie Lucas wrote the screenplay for the show, and they adapted it to this book. And so Quinlan Vos, he gets tempted by Dooku. Once he goes out and he's supposed to do his job, he's kind of like, well, I don't know, I might want to hang out with this guy instead of those freaking Jedis. And he has this alter ego called Captain Enigma, and he's just like very edgy, and he goes dark. And then long story short, she brings him back, but you have Anakin and Obi-Wan trying to bring Quinlan back. They're like, that's our buddy, he can't turn to the dark side. And so it's just it's so good. It's such a good story, and
you sold it very well.
I need a little like 10-minute like Deathly Hallows segment in episode 4 for sure.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
And there's a lot of Obi-Wan and Asajj flirting in that book as well, which is really exciting because Obi-Wan is a flirt. He is such a flirt. So
yeah. Honestly, this is why I'm really glad you're here.
I didn't know that.
Some knowledge there that I wasn't really privy to. But yeah, like I was saying though, I really, really like Asajj, and I like her arc. She kind of goes both ways. Like, she was trained as a Jedi really young, and turned dark, and then came back and just was kind of her own thing. And it makes me kind of interested to know where Reva's path is going. I agree with you, Sarah, that she might be pure evil, but it'd be kind of interesting to see her kind of conflicted. And Dives loves that kind of stuff.
Yes, we love to see it.
Yeah,
so turned a spy and the Skywalker
makes
movie,
for good drama.
That's like Star Wars is at its best when it's exploring like that gray area between Jedi and Sith, and how that can tip. I love that. That's why I love Ahsoka so much, where she sees right through the Jedi and is like, no, fuck you guys. Like, you're wrong.
She sees through the lies of the Jedi.
Yeah. I love that.
Hey, Tyler's speaking my language here. He said Gunji should show up. I would love to see it. We need more Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah, with the lightsaber.
Yeah, Gunji's a young. We see him in Clone Wars as a youngling, and he's so cute.
Well, we saw Gunji in the Bad Batch trailer, didn't we?
I was gonna say the Bad Batch season 2 trailer that looked so good, and the music. Talking about music, the music in that trailer was like boom, boom. It was like Terminator, but it was like, again, back to this 90s kind of like cool, tubular, radical kind of vibe. It was just giving me like, we're just embracing like coolness of Star Wars, you know? Like, I like it.
Like, yeah, Loretto, Gunji shows up with the lightsaber. It's awesome. You gotta watch the trailer, man. What are you doing?
It's not too late to do a reaction. I can do a fresh one, but we'll save that for another day. But yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything. Is there anything else you guys want to bring up before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
But,
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
Did anybody know Obi-Wan had a brother, or is that me? Like, because that
was really cool. I've always wondered, like, they get taken so young to go into this order, and then master and apprentice. I think, because it deals with Qui-Gon and Obi when they're younger, and you get a little bit of Qui-Gon and who trained him, Dooku. You get a little bit of that too. But I think I'm trying not to Mandela this or fill in my own blanks here, but I think he has a slight blurry memory of where he came from. I always think that Obi-Wan came from like a well-off family. He always felt kind of privileged to me, just in the sense of like he has standards. He can be a little snobby sometimes. And you look at the juxtaposition of Anakin and him, and Anakin was born into slavery on this dusty, sad, fucking Tatooine, dirty planet. And then Obi-Wan just never had that vibe. He feels like he comes from a more Alderaan, Naboo, pretty planet. So yeah, that was really cool, Deeps, to just see him talk about that and remember it a little bit. Oh, the Game of Thrones people! Yes!
Yeah, if she survives.
I have no idea who those people are, but
oh man, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've never seen Game of Thrones. Sorry, guys.
Pedro Pascal. So Tyler's comment here: Pedro Pascal played the Red Viper, Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones.
Okay.
The third season, spoiler alert, didn't make it, but he was a badass. A guy from the most southern place in the Game of Thrones. He had a spear, a poison-tipped spear, so even when he died in the battle that he was waiting for, he still freaking got the guy that was in the fight with him. And his wife, or his paramour, his lover, her name is Ilaria Sand. And Tala, the woman who was dressed as the Imperial officer who helped Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Leia, that was his lady in Game of Thrones. So they're both in the Star Wars universe now. We have Oberyn is now the Mandalorian, and Ilaria is now Tala. So
that's awesome.
What that comment was.
How many Imperial spies do you think there are? At least half, right? At least half are spies for the rebels. I don't know.
And while this was kind of 2 stones throws ago, but while we were kind of talking about that, I really liked that Obi-Wan acknowledged the fact that Jedi kind of pull their younglings from families. I thought that was kind of interesting. We've never seen that mentioned in any of the films. So,
no, and he sounded kind of sad about it. Like
totally. Like he made it sound like really like somber, like really like bittersweet. Like, yeah, I'm a Jedi, but they took me from my family.
And he was trying to find a relatable moment for Leia. And again, just to go back, Star Wars is about connection, and it's about hope, and it's about showing that you are not alone, We may not have all gone through the same exact thing, but we've all been through things, and we can connect to the joyous things in life, to the depressing things in life. And as long as you just keep going down that path, that's where the friends are, that's where the hope lives, and that's where the rebellion always can defeat the dark side.
And the Jedi's not this like huge sexy thing. Like even Grogu selected that emotional connection over becoming a Jedi. I love that. Like I love that we're exploring this stuff.
He took the shirt. He's like, I don't want that saber.
Yeah, he wanted to stay with his Mando daddy. But yeah, I think that about does it for us. Where can people find you, Sarah? And what's new with your podcast? Hello there.
I just got her back up. I've been on like a little bit of a sabbatical, but I knew once Kenobi started, I was gonna get back in the saddle again. So Curiosity Kill the Cat is back up and running, and I'm going to be doing Kenobi and Andor and House of the Dragon. So the Game of Thrones fans that showed up today can look forward to that. But yeah, Twitter at Sarah Palpatine, and on TikTok, Sarah Palpatine is the only places you can find me on social media. And thank you guys for having me. This was so fun. You guys are so
thanks
awesome.
for coming back. It's always a pleasure, Sarah. You are so awesome. And yeah, check out her podcast. Hello there. It's I know I found you on Spotify, but are you also on Apple Music as well?
I think sometimes Apple goes back and forth, but you can always find it on Spotify or Anchor FM. Curiosity Kill the Cat is where you do movies and shows and books, and then Hello There is where I focus on the animated stuff having to do with the Star Wars universe. So getting it back
that
into
is so
that
awesome.
one too.
And also hats off to you, because not enough people talk about Star Wars animation. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
What are you gonna say, Debs?
I just say like retweet, like yes. Star Wars animation is the best, man.
So yeah, that about wraps it up for us. This Friday we are going to be reviewing Stranger Things Volume 1, Season 4 in its entirety. It'll be a spoiler-filled review. The season has been mind-blowing for me. I really enjoyed it. Dives liked it, but not as much as the others. Sarah, you got to finish it. It's so good. I mean, at least for me.
I will. I'm excited. I'm still working through who is it? The mom, oh my gosh.
Winona Ryder?
In the third season, when the one teenage boy had the hots for the one kid's mom.
Oh yeah, Mike's mom.
Here? But it was cool. I was like, all right, whatever. Billy or whatever his name was. Is the same Billy? Okay. Yeah.
He had the hots for Mia Mike and Hawk. Nancy's mom. Yeah.
I'm here for Mia Hawk. She is just spectacular. Like, she's the perfect combination of Uma and Ethan, and she's sassy, and anything I've seen her in, she's been great. So yeah, I'll get on my Stranger Things pathway again here.
Yeah, Maya Hawk is so wonderful. So yeah, please tune in Friday on this channel, and if you like this show, please like and subscribe down below. Next Wednesday we will be right back here reviewing episode 4, and I cannot wait. Star Wars fans, whether evil or bad, we've been treated, and we need to enjoy this series for what it is and enjoy the wonderful people in these series, every single actor and actress in it. But on that note, what's up, Dives?
Do we thank you, Deborah Chow. I don't know if we said that or not. I could be wrong, but
let's do a bow down to Deborah.
Good job.
Thank you, Deborah Chow. Thank you, Deborah Chow. She's doing a wonderful job. And I will hear no slander on that front. So for our special guest, Sarah, down below, for Dives, and for myself, I just want to thank everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye, guys.